Welcome to Signature TV News. I am Barikumo Ado. The headlines. Governor Yusuf presents letter of appointment to Emir Sanusi. Governor Oti describes governance in Abia State in the last 24 years as wasteful. University professor makes case for high intake of fiber. On the foreign scene, thousands decry parliamentary reform in Taiwan. And in sport, Finidi George says Coach Posero prayed for his success. Details in a moment. The Kano State Governor, Abba Yusuf, on Friday presented a letter of appointment to the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, as the 16th Emir of Kano. The development is sequel to the signing into law of the amended Kano State Emirate Council law by the governor on Thursday, which abolished the 5 emirate councils and sacked the emirs appointed by former Governor Abdullahi Ganduje. Speaking while presenting the letter to Sanusi, Governor Yusuf said the emir is a victim of the immediate past administration, who is now being restored to his rightful position to lead the people. The ceremony, which was graced by members of the Kano Emirate Council, district heads and title holders, marks a new chapter in the history of the Kano Emirate. Sanusi, who was deposed in 2020 by the Ganduje administration, was reinstated, and that took place despite an ex parte order by a federal high court sitting in Kano, stopping Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State from carrying out the exercise. The court directed all parties involved to maintain status quo ante, pending the determination of a suit filed by Sarkin Dawaki Baba and Aminu Baba Dan Agunde. Governor Alex Oti of Abia State says his emergence as governor has put an end to bad governance in the state. He emphasized that for the people to enjoy the dividends of democracy, they must be able to hold their leaders accountable. The governor was speaking at a town hall meeting for Abia North Senatorial Zone held at Ohafia local government area on Thursday as part of activities to mark his 1 year in office. Describing 24 years of past governance in the state as wasteful, Oti assured the citizens that their money will no longer be shared by a few individuals in government, but used to develop the state.
So what I can assure you is that we have every community in mind. We have every ward in mind. We have every local government in mind. That we are organizing this town hall meeting in senatorial districts is just the beginning. From next month, we will start with our visitation to every local government. From there, we will move to the communities. It is just for us to hear from you and to feel your pulse and also get your assessment of how this government has performed in the last 12 months.
While thanking the people for their support, Oti assured the people of his administration's resolve to improve the education and health sectors, as well as guarantee infrastructural development across all local governments. Abia North Senatorial Zone comprises of Arochukwu, Ohafia, Bende, Umunochi, and Isikwato local government areas. The town hall meeting, which is aimed at creating an opportunity for the governor to interact with the grassroots, is also expected to hold in Abia South and Abia Central senatorial districts. The Imo State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal on Friday affirmed the election of Hope Uzodinma as Imo State Governor. The tribunal, which gave its ruling in Abuja, also dismissed the petition of the Labour Party and its governorship candidate, Athan Achonu. In a unanimous judgment delivered by Justice Oluyemi Akintan-Osadebe, the 3-man panel of the tribunal held that Uzodinma's election as Imo State Governor complied substantially with the provisions of the Electoral Act. The tribunal further held that the Labour Party, in its petition, failed to prove the allegation of overvoting and non-compliance to the Electoral Act. The Independent National Electoral Commission had last year declared Uzodimma of the All Progressives Congress the winner of a November 11 governorship election in Imo State with over 540,000 votes to defeat his closest challenger, Senator Samuel Anyanwu of the People's Democratic Party, who scored 71,503 votes, while Achono came third with 64,081 votes. An Abuja Federal High Court has put a stop to further disbursement of federal allocations to the 21 local government areas of Anambra State. The ruling was delivered by Justice Bello Kawo, who restrained both the Accountant General of the Federation and the Minister of Finance from remitting funds to the 21 local government areas of Anambra State from the Federation account, pending the determination of a suit that was brought before it. It equally ordered the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to probe how funds that accrued to the local governments from March 2022 to April 2024 were deployed and used by the Anambra State government. The orders followed an ex parte application filed by legal practitioner Mr. Chukwuebuka Meni. Justice Kawo granted all the prayers that were sought by the applicant upon reading through the ex parte motion, a 9-paragraph affidavit, annexures, as well as the oral submissions of his counsel, N830m, who held brief for Chimezie Enoka. A federal high court in Lagos has ordered the interim forfeiture of $4.7 million and 831 million naira and several properties linked to the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele. The order was issued on Friday by Justice Yelim Bogoro after an ex parte motion by EFCC counsel Bilkisu Buhari and CC Chinenye asking for the forfeiture of the funds held in various banks and linked to various individuals and organizations. Emefiele's properties forfeiture to the federal government include 94 units of 11-story building under construction at 2 Otumba Elegushi, 2nd Avenue Road, Ikoyi, Lagos AM Plaza, 11-story office space at Otumba Ededuyin Crescent, Lekki Peninsulan Scheme, among others. The EFCC had sought an interim forfeiture of the monies and properties under Section 17 of the Advanced Fee Fraud and Other Fraud-Related Offences Act 2006, Section 44(2)(b) of the Constitution and a court's inherent jurisdiction. University Professor Joy Ikekpeazu makes case for high fiber intake. Details shortly. Welcome back. The Dean of the Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences at the University of Nigeria, Enugu campus, Professor Joy Ikekpeazu, has advised Nigerians to embrace regular intake of food rich in fiber. She equally stressed the need for physical exercise and sufficient rest to ensure metabolic harmony of their bodies while checking their intake of processed food to avoid disharmony. Professor Ikekpeazu gave the advice at a 205th inaugural lecture of the institution which she delivered at the University of Nigeria Enugu campus on Thursday with the theme Metabolic Harmony and Disharmony, Balancing the Heart and Lifestyle. Veniza reports.
In a citation, Professor Esum described the inaugural lecturer, Professor Joy Ikekpeazu, as a woman of many parts and an epitome of humility.
As a very dedicated staff, she has got 2 awards and honors that are related to her active participation in service to the University of Nigeria.
Professor Ikekpeazu, in her inaugural lecture, watched by a cross-section of the institution's internal public, particularly the academia and students, and the external public, made up of captains of industry drawn from the southeast geopolitical zone and beyond, explained that food is necessary when transported from the cells of the body, enabling an organism to live and survive. Professor Ikekpeazu, whose lecture x-rayed various aspects of metabolic processes in living organisms, pointed to sustained control of our food intakes and necessary exercises as the way forward.
There are certain things we need to imbibe that will help us to prolong our life. Things that can actually help us to mitigate against the influence of the environment and what you eat. By ingesting things that can also help the body to be healthy and balance metabolism.
The Provost, College of Medicine, UNTH Itukwuozara, Professor Hyginus Ezegui, represented the Vice Chancellor, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Professor Charles Igwe, while Professor Edith Nwosu is the former Deputy Vice Chancellor, UNEC. Both appraised the lecture as outstanding.
What I have taken home today, in order to maintain metabolic harmony, we need exercise, adequate diet, and proper medical checkup.
They need to sleep at regular hours, eat at regular hours, and then make sure that I don't take water from well.
Some of the guests and lecturers who spoke to Signature TV News said the content is impactful.
This lecture is very enriching. It contains a lot. It has changed my nutritional timetable. It has changed my nutritional arrangement and plan.
I think by and large it was a wonderful, intellectually purposeful delivered lecture.
I have to take care of myself.
Wow.
I have to exercise and not just eat randomly. That is one thing that is very important to me.
The lecture over, Professor Ikekpazu settled down to receive many crowns of glory. First, the Vice Chancellor of the university, through his representative, Professor Hyginus Ezegui, presented a plaque of honor for a job well done to Professor Ikekpazu. He followed it up with a certificate and made a donation of 50 copies of the inaugural lecture to the author. Ebenezer.
Success in life, which is the desire of virtually every individual, does not come easy. It requires a lot of hard work, dedication, and commitment. These are some of the attributes that define the life of Professor Joy Ikekpazu, which has been seen to arise in the Ivory Tower. Correspondent Ebenezer Odo, who had an exclusive chat with the erudite professor, tells us more.
There are certain things we need to imbibe that will help us to prolong our life. Things that can actually help us to mitigate against the influence of the environment and what you eat. By ingesting things that can also help the body to be healthy and balance metabolism.
Nigeria's Attorney General and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi disclosed on Friday that the federal government secured 166 criminal convictions within the last 1 year. Fagbemi, who made the disclosure while presenting his scorecard at the ongoing ministerial sectoral updates in Abuja, said the ministry, in conjunction with relevant security and law enforcement agencies, developed a framework for joint investigation and collaboration geared towards successful prosecution of cases. He also revealed that 625 cases were initiated against the president, the federal government of Nigeria, and its agencies before states, federal, and ECOWAS courts within the same period. On the abduction of journalists from their homes, the minister said the government of President Bola Tinubu was operating on rule of law and justice, assuring no one will be held outside the laws of the country, regardless of whether a journalist was involved or not. Other ministers who presented their scorecards today include the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Pate, Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, as well as Minister of Police Affairs, Dr. Ibrahim Gaidam. The Enugu state government says it will be going ahead with a planned demolition of portions of a motor park and Ogige market at Nsukka on Saturday, May 25, 2024. This is in spite of the outcry by traders and business operators in the area and appeals by some political leaders from the area. The Commissioner for Transportation, Dr. Obi Ozo, who justified the planned demolition at a town hall meeting held at Adada House, told the traders that there was a need to rejig the state transportation system to match what is obtainable in developed countries of the world. Ozo said it made no sense for the administration to build all the roads in Enugu and end up with unkempt and highly disorganized and outdated motor parks that make life difficult for commuters. The governor said the newly built Akwu Road ultra-modern market would accommodate the displaced traders, while compensation will be paid. The government said the newly built Akwu Road ultra-modern market would accommodate the displaced traders, while compensation will be paid to traders whose structures will be affected by the project. The commissioner, who said the government has firmly resolved to totally overhaul the air, railway, and even waterways transportation system, disclosed that contractors that will handle the railway project from Enugu, Nsukka to Uzuwani are already in Enugu. He added that the Bus Rapid Transport BRT buses with 80 passenger capacity have already been bought and would arrive in Enugu in no distant time, saying that half of the people's salaries went to transportation. A member of the Senate, Oke Ezer, and the 2023 Labour Party governorship candidate in Enugu State, Chijioke Doga, had recently added their voices to the outcry over the spate of demolitions in the state, which started with the Holy Ghost and the Wetu areas of Enugu. The Enugu State Waste Management Authority, ESWAMA, has announced that a monthly cleanup exercise will take place on Saturday, 25th May 2024, from 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning. According to a statement released by the authority, movement of people and vehicles during the exercise is strictly prohibited, except for those on essential services who must present a valid means of identification or ESWAMA official pass. The statement warned that offenders will be arrested and prosecuted at the Environmental Mobile Court of Law and advised individuals engaged in sporting activities around Okpara Square and other locations within the metropolis to postpone their activities and participate in the cleanup exercise. Speaking to Signature TV on the exercise, the head of public relations, Joshua Ozioko, advised residents to take the cleanup seriously because of the necessity of a clean environment to human health.
We are calling on Ndi Enugu to please clean up your environment. This is rainy season. Rainy season is already here with us. So help us clean your environment, tidy your surroundings, and then all your gutters, your drainages, make sure you keep them clean.
Ozioko said ESWAMA remains committed to a clean environment through monitoring and enforcement. Thousands protest parliamentary reforms in Taiwan. Stay with us. Tens of thousands of people took to the streets around Taiwan's parliament on Friday to demonstrate against contested parliamentary reforms, in a protest also marked by anger towards China's perceived influence over the island's democracy. Many of them, students or young professionals, listened to speeches and carried banners accusing the opposition of trying to force through the reforms and even working in concert with China. The mass rally, which is the second outside parliament, following one on last Tuesday, came on the same day that China, which claims Taiwan as its own territory, carried out a second day of war games around the island. Beijing said the war games were launched to punish Taiwan's new president, Lai Ching-te, who it calls a separatist. Lai's Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, is trying to stop the opposition, who together have a majority of seats in the parliament, from pushing through measures to give lawmakers more oversight over the government. The reforms will give lawmakers the power to ask the military, private companies or individuals to disclose information deemed relevant by parliamentarians. In sport, Super Eagles coach Finidi George has said that a misconception between him and his predecessor, Jose Peseiro, and both of them a good relationship. George, who stated this while responding to questions at a news conference in Lagos on Friday, said Peseiro thought he had come to take over his job as his assistant. He said that he later formed a unique bond with a former coach, after which Peseiro expressed his desire to see him become the next coach of the Super Eagles. He said Peseiro called him after he got the coaching job to congratulate him, describing the relationship between them as fantastic. Spanish club side Barcelona has named Hansi Flick as the new head coach. The agreement for his appointment has been approved and confirmed and approved by his agent Pini Zahavi on a 2-year deal. He will replace Xavi and take charge of the club side until June 2026. Hansi Flick will bring 2 German assistants as part of his staff at Barcelona, with signatures being sorted. That's the size of a package. I am Barry Kumar Ado. Thanks for watching.